All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your regularly scheduled content as we jump into ladder gaming and we see what these people are up to in the right-hand corner of the map. It is a incredibly powerful up-and-comer. This guy has been winning games left, right, and center at the higher levels, and he's going to be playing some Noir for us on this day. His name is Izamato. Apparently, he's also in the chat. And he's unhappy for some reason. I don't understand why. This looked like a fantastic game to watch. So let's give it a go. His opponent today, however, in the red color is the one, the only Avely. Now, Avely is a good friend of mine. He is a veteran of Age Mythology. He's been playing this game since before most of you were even born, and that's. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he's been playing since most of you guys were in diapers. But nonetheless, he is still cooking. He has still got some skills. He's still very, very, very good at this game. So let's take a look at these relics and see what's going to happen before we talk about the matchup. We've got Pygmalion's statue over here making the villagers' hit points a little bit more better. A little bit better. Over on this side, we also have the fur of Boit. Going to be making those heroes get some regen. And we've got Fatal Fiery Sledge over here. Fortress-like buildings, favor cost set to 0. Over here we have the Demeter's Throne, making the Mount House dedicated drop sites go down by 50% of their cost. So a lot of decent relics on the map, especially the two on the left. What was this one again? And this one as well. So lots of room for castle spammage, lots of room for ballet spammage, lots of room for like defensive play here because of that Pygmalion statue. Raiding with myth units, not the best when you've got a player who's got that Pygmalion statue, because I mean you're going to try and get a villager kill and probably lose your myth units and things like that. So we'll see how things are going to go. Now, on top of this, I want to talk a little bit while we're getting into this game about sort of how the matchup is probably going to go and maybe some tools here for Tsukiyomi to have some success. So, for example, the Noir player's got two options here. Noir can either go for a far second town center and drop the how-to earth wall down and make things pretty slow for the early stages of the game. If that's what's going to happen, then the Tsukiyomi player probably wants to be dropping their own second town center and going for some sort of mid-game timing where they're trying to break the Noir player from pushing out of their base. So you do need to get a couple of units out, prevent them from expanding too easily, and all that other good stuff. And the other sort of style from the Noir could be that they go for that Gen Nu classical fight. Or they could go Gen Nu and go 2 town center, or they could go How To and go 1 town center aggression. You don't really know. You got to scout it out. But you can take a little bit of an assumption on what their god picks are and then go from there. Beyond all of this, if your plan here is to be going for a second town center, then I would recommend that you delay that second Mikor. And you just delay it until you have the town center up. And then you can grab the Mikors and then you're good to go. It's just going to be you probably get less favor in overall, but you're going to have it up a lot faster, a lot more safe. And you can get way more Mikors out when you have a second town center, because you can go, all right, we got this position now. This wood line here, I can drop a Mikor on. This one here, I can chop. Over here, I can drop a shrine here. Is very, very safe. And a shrine over here onto this as well as an option, or a shrine where right in the middle here where I'm hitting 3 different resource types. So there's lots of different options there. But Avely here, he drops his Goshin Boku down, and he is going to be looking forward to getting some nice early game raids in. Now the Kamaitachi with that Kitsune does go up to 5 speed, so it's pretty quick. And Izamato says, sorry, I will not be taking any damage in this early game. In fact, you're going to be losing your Kitsune here because you cannot escape. As much as he would like to escape, he's not going to be able to. So Avely over onto this right-hand corner, just searching. He could come around here and try and knock off the town center a little bit. That Izamato is definitely going to be going for. He's actually moving over onto this spot, which the Mikor does have eyes on. Pygmalion's statue. Does this also improve the Mikor? Is it technically a villager? No, does not. So Guafu now coming through. Oh, we see a town center coming up for Avely. Incredibly aggressive move here as the clay peasants coming down. The Miko will simply just heal everyone up. This is just ridiculously aggressive from Avely. He's losing villagers to that Guafu hero. It's a huge amount of damage. You've got to actually micro those low HP villagers so they're not going to be getting taken out here, as Avely just going at it for the time being. That Chongqi also coming over here. Everybody is in pain as this Weasel and Kitsune need to be over here to help out. What a silly, silly start this is. In fact, behind all of this, Izumato not actually grabbing himself his town center. So Avely, even though he's losing a bunch of villages, he's picking off a bunch of stuff as well. He should be in an okay spot, but he might lose every single one of his villages here, as he has to, no, he has to run. The Weasel will clean up the other Chongqi. The Pioneer comes over here, as the Weasel can no longer take that Chongqi down. And after all is said and done, well, Izumato is down his hero. His hero chieftain, which does come back. But Avely, well, he's down a lot more than that. Wait, did he actually save it? No, he didn't, right? Avely is down a lot more than that. It's 17 villages to 21. The Guafu now moving forward to grab this town center. And Avely will be moving up to the top town center here. So some shenanigans going on at the start of this game, because why not? Why not shenanigans? As all the villages in the world to move over here. I think had Avely microed that one a little bit better, he probably would have lost no villages. The thing that was doing all the damage was that Guafu hero. If he just starts dodging the projectiles, he should be okay. But not only that, he also loses the Pygmalion statue here, which is such a valuable relic. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Izumato is on berries. There's hunt all over the place. There's these caribou here. There's these deer here. There's deer over here, or caribou and deer on this side as well. There's the Chongqi checking out what's going on this side. Where did that Kama Itachi go? Need that one to help defend, as we do see a Bushi out. That's going to be there to help take down those Chongqis. Town centers still not up for Izumato, as Avely does have his own up on this back position. So this means he will be catching up a little bit on villages. Now, I want to also touch on this. Avely in this game has decided to go for Ame no Uzume, which means he isn't really planning to go into Cav super hard, even though his god obviously does favor or make his Cav a little bit stronger. But instead, he gets a little bit of a samurai boost. And he also gets, more importantly, that Goshin Boku, which allows him to get those myth units back. And finally, a really nice technology inside of this god is that Gorehair Wand. Gorehair Wands, which makes the Miko work 10% faster on those shrines. Now, I can't say this with a straight face and say this is a good idea, because he is playing against China, and China literally has the best answer to myth units in the game with the Sage, with the Jiangxia, and then also on top of that, he's got a pretty strong ranged hero in the Mythic Age that can stun them up and snipe them as well. So we'll see what he's going to do with this favor. I mean, the other option here is that he just doesn't actually build any myth units. He's going to have his Kama Itachi, and then he's going to have the free myth unit in the Heroic Age, which is going to allow him to take full advantage of his Goshin Boku, and then the Mythic Age will come, and then you can just try and not lose all three myth units at the same time, and they're just going to keep on coming back through. That's one way to go about it. And then you just spend the rest of the favor on god powers, things like New Moon or whatever. On the other side here for Izumato, he's grabbed himself his second town center on the front. He's getting walls up, a couple of military buildings just in case, but it looks like he wants to go to the next stage. He's got his armory up. He's got that Rushor technology pre-queued here, so he's going to be heading there, and that's a boost to his That's a boost to his infantry. So he might not be wanting to go cavalry here either, which I gotta say is a little bit odd. I would expect cavalry here from Nuwa, and I do also expect cavalry from the Tsukiyomi, but you don't necessarily have to go into Naginata riders. You could go into Yumi horse archers as well as an idea. So we'll see how things end up shaping up as the Bushi hero with that range, 18 range. Feels nice. Going to start poking a little bit on this side as the Imperial Academy going to come up over onto this side. The walls over here as well. And Izamato now almost having himself fully upgraded units. And we will be seeing Hachiman as well from Avely, which gives him a good option, a good answer to myth units inside of the Shogun. But also, he's still not playing into the cavalry. I mean, he kind of is still. He can go for, what is it called? Golden Kite. That boosts up his horse archers. But he is not wanting those Naginata riders at all, it seems, in this game. And I don't blame him. Like, your opponent's gone Rusho. And that means he's got access to super halberdiers as well. He obviously doesn't have master of weaponry, but that technology inside of here, this one here, does boost up the Dao and the halberdier. So I don't blame him for not wanting to go cav in this spot. As his weasel has died, we'll be coming back to life. You can continue to just send that one out, but a nice way to play around this, especially on a map as defensive as Alfheim, is just wall it all off. Just wall everything off, and then the weasels can't really enter, and you can deal with it. He's already got this position wall. Maybe you could finish this off with a little cheeky wall over here as well, so that he can like be fine. But anyways, we do see the Baihu coming in, looking for a villager to pick off. Oh, he jumps into the house foundation. He's right in the middle, and he says, "I can swipe that down." The Bushi is going to take a long time to kill this guy. He doesn't really do that much damage. 8 times 8, and then you have to take off half of it. So it's 8 times 4. So you do the math. I can't. As the Tengu going to be charging in here. As we also see Shogun coming through. One idea here for the Tengu is to... Oh, the Sage is out. Oh, well. So he stuns the Tengu up. Oh. How did he jump then? Apparently he could just jump away. Even though he's stunned. I didn't know that. There you go. There you go. Can you turn a Bushi and a Shogun? No. No, you cannot. These guys is only on the Daimyo. Oh, okay. So that changes things. Maybe the Tengu is actually really, really good here against China, because you can jump out of the stun. I don't know if that's intentional. That's a bug. Like, look at, he's still kind of stunned up. Well, I don't know what's going on there with that little animation. But nonetheless, he's going to be searching for some villagers. Now, this guy here, I don't actually know if it's with the upgrade or pre-upgrade. I can't remember how that works. Let me have a quick look at it. Is this just damage? Multiplies damage self-multiply. Yeah, so you are getting bonus damage by getting that thing. But if you charge in, you jump onto a villager pack, the boost you get in terms of stats is enough to take down villagers in like 1 or 2 shots, right? He comes in, just 1. Okay, well, without the upgrade, it's going to be 4 shots. But with the upgrade, I believe it's 2 shots. Now, oh no, these are Pandora's box villagers. So I think it would be 2 or 3 shots without Pandora's box. But nonetheless, the Tengu going to fall, and then he's going to send that one back, and he's going to just get that back into the Goshin Boku, and then all of a sudden, those walls that Izamato has set up aren't going to be enough to deal with these raids. But Izamato is prepared. He's got the back pioneers. He's good to go. No problems. Meanwhile, a castle up in the middle here for Avely. Izamato trying to push around onto the left side here. We'll see if he can grab the town center or something like that. As we do see Okuni Nushi to come through for Avely. Meanwhile, we got Gong coming in for Izamato. And he's also going to be getting himself his Divine Judgment and his Gilded Shield. Now, he doesn't have access to Huang Di in that Mythic Age. Only Shenong's got that one. So he's missing out Izamata is going to be missing out on a little bit of stats on these infantry units. So they're not going to be the strongest things in the world, but they'll still feel very, very powerful with those Rushall technologies. And the question is really going to be, what does Avely go for? He's still really not built a whole lot. I mean, both players are playing incredibly defensively in this game, not really building all too many units. So that obviously means they're just kind of handshaking on the tech situation as this Kamatachi wants to come through, but unfortunately is not allowed to. He gets one on the back though. Just gonna hang out, just chill, and then yep, that's fine. Just chill. As the Baihu going to be moving in, we're going to take out some villagers on the front here. We do see that Gong Gong now coming through, and the Baihu dives in, snipes one villager. And we will see the Onmoraki going through. This is absolutely my favorite unit. And we do see the first new moon coming down, and then he drops onto the castle, and then a second new moon with the Sacred Gate onto the armory here. So he goes up to full bronze, and I imagine he's actually going to just wait for 80 favor and then go for another one for full iron. How long does it take to cool on the cooldown? It's only 3 minutes. So he could go for that as well. For the moment now, he's going to be building himself Oyumi. He's got the Onmoraki that can literally just like fly over the cliffs and go for raids with those wretches. Look at this. He's going to come straight in onto this food situation and just dump wretches over. Did you get the upgrade onto these? No. Imagine the upgrade. I could use New Moon onto that. He's also got another Goshin Boku if he wants to. He's about to get his Weasel back out and all the other good stuff. As let's see how this bad boy is going to do, as these villagers have got nothing protecting them. The wretches come down. They're only doing a little bit of damage, but the villagers need to run. And that Onmoraki, just the attacks by itself, that hurts. That hurts. He's doing 40 pierce damage a second. As the wretches, unfortunately, end there. I think you really do need that upgrade for these guys to feel really strong. And then maybe 2 of them as well on those raids. And you could easily get some serious damage done as the Oyumi coming through, hitting the town center over here. The army of Avely hanging out on this position as the army comes around onto the back. We do actually see some Naginata riders coming through, but he doesn't have access to the answers to deal with these swordsmen just yet, does he? Surely Izamata can just take this fight. He's feeling like he can't. He drops the Great Flood down. That's going to take those units straight in to the ballet. No Fey Beast getting dropped down, but Samurai starting to come through. The Shogun has been left sort of by himself. There are 2 Shogun actually in here, as well as the Qinglong comes through and it's going to start getting that value in. But both of those Shogun getting taken out does give Izamata a little bit of breathing room. He is actually getting himself that Restless Army tech and more Onmoraki. Let's go. Onmoraki. I've been waiting. This is my favorite unit from the Japanese here. You just kind of spam them with those wretches. He does have to wait for this. It's 40 seconds. Unfortunately, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine is the Chinese motto in terms of myth units. But still, he does get these back through his Goshin Boku. They're working overtime at the moment. And look at these Oyumi here. I almost don't want to double click on them right now. I almost don't want to, but I'm going to. 7,400 HP worth of damage. These things absolutely stonk. How do you beat these? The question is. Well, the answer is this unit. Tiger Cab. Absolutely need some Tiger Cab in here as the Onmoraki does get sniped down, but you know, Avely's not going to care too much about that. He's got these Goshin Bokus to just bring them back. Sure, they're going to be off the field for a little bit, but he's not going to mind too much. He did manage to take this town center down as well as a Fey Beasts gets dropped down. That's a nice actual answer for this. All the Fey Beasts will end up falling, but he picked off a good, hefty amount of those Oyumi, as now Avely has to get back to rebuilding these, and he's going to keep going for it. You have to remember, he's gone through Okuninushi, so he's got himself that mechanical artisan's technology. Did I get that right? He's got that mechanical artisan's technology, which boosts them up. So these things, yeah, these things are hurting more than they would normally hurt. These things are hurting more than they would normally hurt. As the Li Jing dropping that stun down. And we do see Divine Prefecture now coming through, and he's already basically at 84 villages, so it's not going to be that big of a boost, but it does help him get these villages out very, very quickly. They go from 18 seconds down to 11.25 seconds each time you build them. But not only that, look at how fast now these heavy Oyumi are training. They're at 15 seconds for a siege weapon. Just compare that over to the other side here. What's this guy? 22 seconds. Is there this guy as well? At some point we'll see. As we do see the spread formation coming through. No real attempt to go into the Tiger Cav, which would be probably his best bet right now. But nonetheless, now we've got those Omboraki, the wretches coming through. We got the stun coming in. We got the Qinglong as well on the way here. That's going to get a big amount of damage done onto those Deuterinos there as the... Wait, is that also a Plague Bringer Omboraki? Does this give the upgrade? No, it doesn't. It just steals the name. It doesn't give the upgrade. So it's only throwing 4 back at you. But nonetheless, Avely does break through that forward army there. And Izamato just can't push into this. Now, what's the biggest weakness of these Oyumi? Well, the biggest weakness of these Oyumi is going to be their speed. So, what do you want to do? You want to push into the place where they're most defensive underneath the castle? No. You want to go this way. You want to attack up here. You want to clean this. You want to go for this. And once these guys get out of position, trying to maybe siege down the town center, then you collapse down onto it with your Tiger Cav and break through it. So you got to be a little bit more careful. And beyond all of that, the other really important thing is to not just attack move from far away and have your army go into a straight line to just get melted by these heavy Oyumi. You have to run them in formation, preferably in spread formation and attack move at the last second, basically. As the Oyumi, I mean, there's so many of them. You have to expect 15 siege weapons to be taking these buildings down very, very quickly as he one bangs the market there. And Izamato is just pulled back into this corner, trying to figure out what he's supposed to do here. As the Omboraki coming back in. I love this army. The real thing here is that Avely probably should be in an army of Yari Spearmen and Oyumi. Because the only thing that really beats these Oyumi is going to be Cav. Maybe actually Baihu are an option here. Or what's the other myth unit he's got? The Chongqi. Maybe not the Chongqi. Probably Baihu or your other option to actually break through this, because you can dive in onto these units if you have like 4 or 5 of them and take everything out, because they're not going to die too quickly to the damage. Actually, they might die pretty quickly because they don't have crush armor, do they? Hang on, let me have a look. They got 3250 crush. Maybe they'll be okay. I don't know. And anyways, definitely you got to make some cav here. But at the moment now, Avely has taken this position. He's got all the economy in the world. He's got all of his... He doesn't have all of his armory upgrades, so he's missing those. I think he might have thought, I've already dropped my new moon down onto that space, so he's going to be okay. But realistically there, it's not going to be it. There's coinage coming in. We've got the deer caravan starting to come through as well as the big blob of Izamato wanders. And look at this. He clicks attack move. I almost want to pause and show. He clicks attack move and you watch his army just bunch up. So you've got to get... I mean, also trying to attack into this space is just... It's a nightmare waiting to happen. Look at this. Like, look at the damage. He does drop in the Fey Beast over onto this side, but I don't even think they're going to be able to do a whole lot there onto those heavy Oyumi. And that front line is going to melt. He doesn't have the right answer to Naginata Riders either. He needs Halberdier, or more preferably Tiger Cav. And he does actually decide to just tap out there. Aizamata could not figure out how to approach this composition here. He's just like, I can't push through it. And he just keeps trying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It just does not work for him. But a tough lesson learned. Got to make those Tiger Cav. And if there's going to be some Yadi Spearman in, now you've got mobility on your side. Break through this, like raid into the main base, kill off villages, etc. When the army is out of position, we come back in and we take the fight. Those sorts of things are definitely the way to go. But nonetheless, Avely shows an incredibly interesting way here to play with Tsukiyomi. If we take a quick look at the tech tree, you've got this god here, which is giving access to mechanical artisans. That's the big sort of checkbox you need. Over here, you've got the Amaterasu, who's also got access to this. So both Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu are going to be able to have access to this really strong Oyumi. And I definitely recommend to give it a try. I see a lot of Amaterasu players wanting to go for Takamikazuchi for obviously for the sumo training and the 10-fisted sword, or the 10-fist sword for the samurai. But realistically, the samurai are already strong enough, especially if you're going to go for like Raijin and grab yourself Hanya Mask, and also go for Ame no Uzume and grab yourself Katagi. This Okuni Nushi as Amaterasu is scary when you consider how good it is here for Tsukiyomi as well. Unfortunately, Susanoo does miss out on this one. He has to figure out a little bit of something different to do in that late game against the Chinese, but this is a great idea. I am very interested in what would have happened here if Aizamata would just planted a couple of ballet, made a tech switch into Cav, and tried to deal with this, but he didn't really go. He didn't really try to move into anything else, and it just was not going to happen. Nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.